Are you proud to be a woman? A powerful woman is able to lead and face any upcoming challenges in life. This topic is interesting and no one should underestimate a woman's capability. Okay? And here are some of the most powerful women like Queen Elizabeth I, Cleopatra, Jhansi Rani, Catherine the Great, and Amelia Earhart that made history as we know today. Let's take a deeper look into each one of them. Good day to my lecturer, Madam Zurina, and to my fellow friends. My name is Rupa Roshni Anaparampan Valadhyam, and today I'm going to talk about the five most powerful women in history. So I'm going to talk about Queen Elizabeth I. As you can see here, this is Queen Elizabeth's portrait, and she is once known as Virgin Queen. Why Virgin Queen, you ask? Because she obtained that name because she ruled for 44 years without having a king by her side, meaning she never got married. Okay? But her legacy still lives on until this very day. She's one of the most outstanding leaders in history because she proved to everyone that a woman could make a fine ruler as any man could be. That is one of her ideal traits. Her region from 1558 to 1603 is known as the Elizabeth era, and she encouraged major cultural differences as well, especially to her country. When she became queen in 1558, her country was poor and it struggled a lot of conflict, especially religious conflict. But when she died in 1603, England was the most richest and powerful kingdom, powerful country, no matter anywhere in the world. At that time, it was the most rich and powerful kingdom. She successfully united her people and maintained peace among the religious conflict as well. These are one of her achievements. She managed to unite her people. She turned her own poor country to a powerful nation. That is something a big achievement. And not only that, she also defeated the most powerful man in the world, King Philip II of Spain. He was a notorious man, and with her smart thinking and the ability to lead her members of war, she was known as one of the greatest victories of all time because she managed to defeat his power and conquer everything. To me, I really admire her power. That is what real feminine stands for. This is my overall point. Thank you. On to the next presenter.
Hello everyone, I'm Shantini Jisanamani. Today I will tell you about the life of one of the most famous and powerful women in history. She was a good nurse, a queen, and a skilled diplomat and negotiator. She was a great politician who knew how to show off her and her country power and influence. At the height of her rule more than 2000 years ago, she controlled Egypt and other land including most of the eastern Mediterranean coast. She was also one of the richest people in the world. She was known for a striking personality, her sharp intelligence, and her alliance with the two most powerful men of the time. Her name was Cleopatra. Cleopatra VII was born over 2000 years ago in 69 birth of Christ, or 69 years before birth of Christ. Her ancestors came from a long time of ruler that began with Ptolemy I and ended with Cleopatra. This family is known as the Ptolemies. Although Cleopatra ruled Egypt, she was not an Egyptian. She was a Macedonian Greek. Cleopatra would have been a part of this learned environment. She grew up studying and memorizing literary works which taught about history, religion, and philosophy. She also studied public speaking, math, music, astronomy, and geometry. She used this knowledge in her many duties as queen. She organized an army, acted as a judge, controlled the value of the country's money, secured Egypt's economy, and was a huge supporter of art. Stacy Schiff also described how Cleopatra successfully used her image as a powerful queen and goodness to influence others. Mr. Schiff explained that the power of imaginary was used in a world where only some people knew how to read. For example, Cleopatra made herself into a representation of a goodness, Isis. Isis was a goodness of a motherhood and justice. Mark Antony soon killed himself, dying in Cleopatra's arms. Cleopatra killed herself by poison several days later to escape, watching her kingdom become a province of Rome. A golden age and Egypt and its rule ended with her death. But Cleopatra's timeless story would live on. Thank you.
Apart from that, one such powerful hero was Rani of Jhansi, Rani Lakshmi Bai, who is an epitome of bravery and courage. Now, I'm going to inform you about Rani Lakshmi Bai's birth, family, and education. She was born to a Maratha family, and since childhood she was ferocious and brave in every sense. She was born on 19th November 1828 in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh as Manikarnika. She was educated at home and could read and write. Moreover, she was practiced self-defense, archery, shooting, fencing, and also Malakamba. At the age of 7, she got married to Gangadhar Rao, king of Jhansi. The marriage was short-lived, and after the demise of Gangadhar Rao, Rani Lakshmi Bai is coronated as the Queen of Jhansi. On the other hand, I would like to inform you about the 1857 rebellion. The Britishers eyed the kingdom and tried to take advantage of Rani's lack of experiences. They considered Rani to be helpless, but she was determined and denied their control of her kingdom. Rani protested against it and adopted a son. She further formed an army of her own, which also included women. British entered Jhansi and looted common people and killed many children and women. Along with the army, she was fought against 2 weeks rather than surrendering herself to them. She carried her adopted son Damodar Rao on her back and killed many soldiers. On 18 June, British attacked the neighboring kingdom and re-entered to the Jhansi again. However, this time, as she was on a new horse, caused her to fall down and got injured due to her difficulties of controlling it. Since Rani in a male warrior costume, British didn't recognize her, but Rani's servant helped her by gave her holy water. As per her last wish, Rani Lakshmi Bai was burned by a hermit.
Hi, my name is Yuvita Shanmugam. Now I'm going to share about one of the most powerful women in history, which is Catherine the Great. Catherine II, most commonly known as Catherine the Great. She was Empress of all Russia from 1762 until 1796, the country's longest ruling female leader. She came to power following a coup d'etat that overthrew her husband and second cousin, Peter III. Under her regime, Russia grew longer, its culture was revitalized and it was recognized as one of the great powers of Europe. She was born on April 21, 1729 and died on November 6, 1796. German-born Empress of Russia who led her country into full of participation in the political and cultural life of Europe. Carrying on the war began by Peter the Great. With her ministers, she recognized the administration and law of the Russian Empire and extended Russian territory, adding Crimea and much of Poland. Despite Catherine's personal weakness, she was above all a ruler truly dedicated to her adopted country. She intended to make Russia a prosperous and powerful state. Since the early days in Russia, she had dreamed of establishing a region of order and justice, of spreading education, creating a court to rival Versailles, and developing a national culture that would be more than an imitation of French models. Her projects obviously were too numerous to carry out, even if she could have given a full attention to them. Her most pressing practical problem, however, was to replenish the state treasury, which was empty when Elizabeth died. This she did in 1762 by secularizing the property of the clergy who owned one-third of the land and served in Russia. The Russian clergy was reduced to a group of state-paid functionaries, losing what little power had been left to it by the reforms of Peter the Great. Since the Cup dictated and Peter's suspicious that demanded both discretion and stability in her dealings with other nations, she continued to preserve friendly relations with Russia, Russia's old enemy, as well as with the country's traditional allies, France and Austria. Did you know Catherine the Great was reportedly tone deaf and had to receive a signal to applaud at operas, concerts and ballads? Catherine faced over a dozen of uprisings during her rule. Catherine passed off gifts, including land and titles, to her former lovers. One received more than 1,000 ingratious servants. Thank you.
Finally, the most powerful woman in history that I choose is Amelia Earhart because she inspired women to follow their heart and to not count on men to help them and to do all of the work. She also inspired them to never give up. Amelia was turned down so many times just because she was a woman. Amelia Earhart, the greatest and most ambitious woman pilot the world has ever seen. Amelia Earhart was born in Atchison, Kansas on July 24, 1897. She defied traditional gender roles from a young age. Amelia had her first flying lesson on January 3, 1921. Her teacher as Anita, a pioneer female aviator. 6 months later, she bought a own airplane, a Evo in a Astro, that she nicknamed the Canary. On May of 1923, she received a pilot license. On April 1923, a man called and challenged Amelia to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. She said she would. The airplane friendship took off Amelia into it. Now let's look at Amelia set a number of aviation records in a short career. Her first record came in 1922 when she became the first woman to fly solo above 14,000 feet. Secondly, she is the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic in 1928. And also, she took a part in Women's Air Derby, the first official women air race in the United States. She also set the women's speed record for 100 kilometers with no load and with a load of 500 kilograms. And also, Amelia made the first solo non-stop flight across the United States by a woman. During a flight to circumnavigate the globe, Amelia disappeared somewhere over the Pacific in July 1937. Her plane wreckage was never found, and she was officially declared lost at sea. Her disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. I hope you have learned a lot about the five most powerful women in history. This informative speech has made me realize how hard life was for women and how lucky I am to be a woman. Thank you.